I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks. 5, 4, 3. That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
This is the Universal Wrestling Podcast. Inside the ring. Outside the ring. It's all here.
We're talking about the greatest sport of all, professional wrestling.
Come on. And now, here's Nick and Keith.
Yeah, buddy. Welcome back to the Universal Wrestling Podcast. My name is Nick. His name is Keith, and we got two special guests on the show tonight. Let's start with you, Will. Let me get this right. Botch, spots, and chair shots. Will, how are you, brother?
First off, I want to say thank you, Nick and Keith, for having me here. It's always a pleasure just hanging out, chatting about some wrestling. It's a good evening for it.
Yes, sir. Mr. Trivia, the Trivia King. You kicked ass last night. How many points? Like 33 at the end of the night?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was 33 was the final score.
Yeah.
I felt really good when I got the art bar question with Eddie Guerrero when they started bringing up some AAA and CMLL wrestling. I was like, okay, I think I'm comfortable. I started to get my feet underneath me.
Yeah, I mean, I beat Bakley. I guess that counts, right? I love
Does it though?
And he's here. He's back. Mr. Tim King from the Tim King Show, but most importantly, from the Bloodline Entertainment Network. Timmy King, what's up, brother?
Yo, my dudes, Keith, Nick, thank you for having me. Love you guys. Glad to be back. Will, my dog, bot spots and chair shots. Ain't that hard? I love you guys, dude.
Yeah.
Love you. Love Al.
Tim.
Glad to be talking to you again. It's been a hot minute, my brother. I'm glad to chop it up with you guys. Talk some wrestling for sure. Thanks for having me, boys.
Keith, we got to promote, brother. Let's do it. You can find UWPod right here on the Bloodline Entertainment Network. Yes, that fancy website Timmy maintains. It's there, bloodlinenetwork.com. Go check us out. Timmy, what do we got? We got entertainment, we got sports, we got wrestling, we got top 10 lists, we got director's cut tonight. What do we have tonight, Timmy? Before we get into it, let's hear it.
Yeah, right here on the Bloodline Entertainment Network, we got our AEW Dynamite review, which we do every single Wednesday night live after AEW Dynamite. Yes, I got myself, I'm always on it. But this week, I got your boy Cage, Bakley from Cage My IQ. He'll be joining me. We'll be talking some AEW Dynamite. Huge announcement as far as AEW Collision goes, but that's not the announcement. I know what the announcement is. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
He'll be the announcement. And I love the dirt sheet drama that has come about it. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Either way, join us tonight live right here on the Bloodline Entertainment Network. Baby. We be talking about it.
And Keith, we can't forget those two guys from down under, Alan and Tom. The broadcast exclusively on the UWPod YouTube channel for video content only. Great guys. They just had their latest episode drop this week. Heidenreich goes one-on-one with Alabama Doink.
Wait,
what? Classic. It's a classic, man. It's really
Golden Corral.
Great. Yeah. Yes. Can't forget that.
Golden Corral parking lot. What?
Yes.
Yo, that was some really funny stories in that episode, including a really good urine story from a train. So
yeah,
I'd go and check that out. It's really
buddy. All right, we're done promoting. Bloodline, botched spots and chair shots. Timmy, I got it right. The Tim King Show, the Universal Wrestling Podcast. Let's talk some wrestling. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Yes,
let's do it. Yeah, buddy.
Oh,
Sami Zayn to compete at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. This is really interesting just because for so many years he never went, and we understood political, whatever it is, he did not go. But now I don't want to say a rumor, but the match is decided, as our buddy Devin would like to say. It is going to be KO and Sami going one-on-one with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. It's really interesting because I still don't think he's going, but I would love just to talk about it. I mean, your thoughts? I mean, what is he really going to do this? Yes, the Saudi government lifted their ban. I get that, but still, from the heart, from him being who he is and his background, I don't know if he goes. What do you guys think? Keith, I'll throw it to you.
He's my boy. I mean, whatever he wants to do is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, they made the match graphic. Like, it's kind of hard for him to pull out of that now without getting in some serious trouble, you know? So, I mean, I think he goes. I feel like, but, you know, Sammy's so good with, like, flipping the script on this kind of stuff where, like, I feel like he'll go and he'll make it known, like, when he lands there, he'll put out some tweet just being like, hey, like, my entire pay for this trip, whatever I get, shirt sales, any of that, it's all going to, you know, his Center for Syria that he's got, like, some charity that he's got going on. But
really,
it's going to be tough for him to. I don't see how he gets out of it. Like I said, the graphics made, like, you know.
Yeah. Will, I don't know about you, but I feel like, yes, the graphics made, and Keith's making a lot of great points. But could something happen beforehand? Like, that's what I think. I think something happens beforehand, and I don't mean they're going to lose the titles. I mean, maybe there's something with the Usos. Maybe Roman is just, you know, hey, let's do it tonight. Let's do it on SmackDown. Let's do it on Monday. Let's do it then. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be cool to see them, you know, at the paper PLE. But what do you think, man? I mean, this is just, it is what it is. If he does what if he goes, that's cool. If he doesn't, that's fine by me. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
I think if you look at the big picture of it, putting politics aside, Sami, I just echoing with what Keith said, Sammy's the one that's going to make the decision. It's going to be up to him. And at this point, because Sami, it's not just political. He's got the moral high ground on some of the stuff they've done as far as the interactions inside the Middle East. I'm completely speaking out of my element here. I do know the Saudi government is looking to raise awareness for the sports activities because they've had trouble nailing down for live golf and live soccer. They're having trouble getting TV deals for these things. So they're really working hard internationally to be like, hey, maybe we don't, aren't the terrible bad guys everybody's painted us to be for the last 35 years. Whether or not that ends up working, the bot shows like the Saudi show are exactly what we know they are. We saw it last year with the Saudi show with Logan. We know the gist of what we're going to get from it. It's there for, big pops. They're going to sell, an ass every 12 inches. So as far as it goes, if Sami goes, holy shit, that's huge. That changes, the whole face of wrestling because he was the poster child of I'm not going to Saudi. So if he goes, that's a huge step forward in, as far as I can tell from my ignorant political side, that stuff's heading the right direction, at least in WWE's world, because Sami was a hard no up until now.
Tim, Will makes a great point. It's not about the matches. It's not about, the titles. It's about making that step forward. It's about making that step to, I don't want to say peace, but, that this actually is going to happen. It's a good thing, right?
You guys all made fantastic points. First of all, I'm always a huge advocate of these Saudi shows. Listen, the government might be fucked up and whack, whatever, have your take and opinion on it, the truth on it. But those people are just normal, everyday, real life people like we are. So the mere fact is putting such a quality show on for those people, I have no problem with. As a matter of fact, I enjoy most of the Saudi shows. Sami and KO going fucking blows my mind. I would have told you if this show was booked 6 weeks from now, we're going to see some sort of swerve. Yo, bro, the show is 9 days from now or 10 days from now. They're going. It's Roman and Solo versus Sami and KO. Whatever was lifted, whatever the ban was that was lifted. Again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to play politics live. No one wants to hear that. Whatever ban was lifted, obviously, is okay here. And just like Keith said, Sami Zayn is making that decision that he wants to go.
It's a big deal.
I applaud you, bro.
Yeah.
Go do you. Go do your thing. I absolutely 110 support you. Just like I 110% support them going there and giving these people the show. Just do it safely. Always just please do it safely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do not try this at home.
No board the plane, unboard the plane, hold them for 3 hours. That whole thing that's still weird. I can't wait for the day somebody I cannot wait for the day one of them writes the whole thing out and
Carl Anderson was never going back except until they paid him a shitload of money.
Yeah, that guy.
Now they did throw a swerve because we really thought this was going to be the Usos versus KO and Sami. What do you think, man? Keith, I'll start with you. It's Roman Reigns and it's Solo. And Solo, we've been talking about him for how many weeks now being the top star? Mm-hmm. He's leading the bloodline. Roman's back. They are going to tag and they're going to tango with Sami and KO. Is that something you want to see, or do you want to see another match with the Usos?
I'm into the
like that. Go ahead.
I'm into the match for the storyline. I'm into seeing
Roman
look
at Will. My man.
Hey, cool. No, I'm totally into the match. I'm really for Roman and Solo, Sami and KO. It's going to be a banger. I don't know. I feel like if they're not going to do some kind of nonsense to take the titles off of Sami and KO before they go over so that Sami doesn't go.
See that?
Which might happen and would really piss me off. But if they're not going to do that and they just have them lose the titles to Roman and Solo in Saudi Arabia, that's also going to piss me off. I guess what I'm really getting at with all of this is there's no circumstance out of this if KO and Sami lose the titles that I'm going to be happy with.
Keith's going to be pissed off.
I mean, anyone who watches anything that we do here on the UWPod knows that I love those two.
Yeah,
I would do anything that they want to do. I'm following them. If they're going to both stop tomorrow and become goat farmers, I'm gonna start buying goat milk from them. Done. That's what it's going to be. I love the shit out of both of them. So you give them this big moment. The match at Mania was great. He just keeps haluva kicking him in the corner. You give him all that. You give him this build. You give him their flowers. You give Sami the flowers he should have had at Mania for taking the pin from Knoxville last year, which I love that match. But fucking Johnny Knoxville pinned him with a friggin' mousetrap last year. So you give him a moment. You give him a title. You give him the main event of night one. And then because of everything else, you're just going to take his title from him immediately. That sucks. And especially to give it right back to the bloodline like that. I guess it's not the Usos and stuff. And it'll help a story in some way because it's Roman and Solo get to be like, hey, you guys didn't get the job done. We did, though. Cool. But no, there's other ways to move these things along without you ultimately invalidate that Mania match if they take it off him. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the match, but if they lose, I'm going to explode.
Yeah. And Will, I think that's where I'm a little skeptic just because it's Roman Reigns and it's Solo. And God forbid, I think most of the fans, the universe, I guess I'll say, thought Cody was going to win at WrestleMania. He did not. So now Roman has another title match. I'm skeptic. I don't know if this is going to happen. And if it does, what's Roman's track record? Come on. He don't lose. Will, it happens, right? Or what? Roman walks in and loses and walks out with no titles. I don't see it.
See, this is how you, in my head, just the fantasy booking it here. You want Roman to get out without getting the titles, but without making him look weak, right? Yeah. This is where you utilize the drama between Jay and Jimmy, or you have a swerve with Paul being involved or somewhere. You get it to where you have the ability for Sami and KO to win either dirty or because something shisty happened. and then Roman doesn't have to be involved at all. It could be because Jay and Jimmy interfere with Solo. Roman won't be touched in this match as far as pins, wins, or losses in the big scheme of things.
I dig it.
So I think that's the way I feel like they have to come out of it, because I do think if they do get the belts, then Sami and KO not only ended one of the greatest tag team championships runs ever to be transitional champions for 40 days, but it
to get back to the same stable.
Exactly. To end up being back at the exact same group to where we were, like I said, 45 days ago before Mania. So it's literally just hitting like the reset clock on something for it.
Yeah. Timmy,
Justin, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's tough, man, because you really want to see them. I don't know. Even now, Timmy, it's like they still don't have each other's backs. I mean, it's like from the NXT days. It's like from the beginning of, when they first debuted on Raw and SmackDown. I mean, it's just, are they aligned? Or are they not? I mean, it's just same old shit, man. I get it. I understand it. History repeats itself. But we've seen this how many times? I mean, does Roman, I know it's early, but does Roman and Solo, do they walk out as champions? I mean, if that happens, I don't know what's going to happen next. It's just mind-blowing. Let's hear it. Shut me up.
Not a chance in hell. Zero chance in hell Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are losing these tag titles at any point in the near future. Ain't happening, not happening. You got the Judgment Day lingering. They just beat them on Raw. All right? That feud's going to happen. And they got their boy, Matt Riddle, just hanging around, okay? So you got 3-on-3s right there. Plus what you got going on Raw this coming week. You got the Imperium match. They need a partner. Mystery partner. Who's it going to be? We all know it's going to be Riddle, right? So you got that. So you got KO and Sami against Imperium. You got KO and Sami against the Judgment Day. Who, if anybody is going to take the belts off of them, it would be the Judgment Day to put more belts inside of that crew. There is no chance it's going to be the Bloodline, solely for what Will said. The Usos will come down. The Usos will try to help out. The Usos will inadvertently cost Roman and Solo. Solo eats the pin, and Sami gets the revenge he was screaming about on Roman on Monday night. And I can't wait to see it. It's going down in Saudi. Sami and KO versus Roman and Solo is going down. Sami and KO are walking out the tag champs 110%.
That's why you're my boy, Blue.
Amen.
And dude, you
preach.
You are the man. You sold that to me. The best salesman
Feel the power
on the UWPod. Let's get to it. Timmy talked about it earlier. Let's talk about AEW, and let's talk about, the big announcement that we've been waiting for. Let's do it. Let me find the thing. Here we go. Yes, sir. Dan Bakley breaks the news today for us. Dirty Dan. What do we call him?
Dirt Sheet Dan.
Dirt Sheet Dan. Man. Dirt Sheet Dan. Well, I still think there's another announcement tonight, but today AEW announced the live show for Saturday night. It's called Collision, and it will be on TNT. This is really interesting. I mean, this is just another another thing that Tony Khan can say, you know what, I did. We have a shit ton of content out there. Now we're going to put it on Saturday. We're going to eliminate, what is it, Dark, right? They're going to eliminate Dark.
Dark and Dark Elevation.
Dark Elevation.
They're gone, yep.
It makes sense.
Wiped them off the YouTube already.
Those people, yes, that, the independents and all those guys that don't really have time on TV, they get that time. But this is a big deal. I mean, this brings me back, and I'm, I love my Saturday, shows. I love wrestling on Saturday. We're going to get that. It's not going to be the WWE, but that's one of the big announcements Tony Khan announced today. Collision. I can't wait. TK, you're a big AEW fan. Let's hear it. What do you got?
Dude, I'm so excited. Like you said, one of the best memories I have, what got me into wrestling as a kid, was going over to my grandparents' house, going to their basement. throwing on WCW Saturday night and seeing like Marcus Alexander Bagwell team with the Patriot against Paul.
Right.
Right? Like Paul Roma and Paul.
How old are
right?
you, Tim?
For real.
I'm 37, all right? So I was in 1991, 92. I'm watching this in my grandparents' basement. This got me into professional wrestling. Weekly episodic wrestling on Saturdays.
Sell it, baby.
Plus, you saw the poster, right? You got Max and you got Orange Cassidy. You got the world champion and you got the workhorse of the company. In addition, you see people you don't get to see all the time. The people that Justin and I and Jeremy call who are on the island of irrelevancy, just hanging out like, hey, throwing up their fucking hands like, hey, Tony, come and get me. So now, Miro is back. Thunder Rosa, let's go. House of Black will consistently be on TV. FTR will consistently be on TV. Fucking Andrade will finally have a role. And I swear, the reason he's off the poster is because he will be the announcement tonight. CM Punk will be the announcement tonight. Collision was announced this morning. CM Punk is the announcement. He'll be front and center. The announcement will be CM Punk for Samoa Joe in Chicago, June 17th at the United Center. And that's going down. I love it. And good. Get rid of Dark. Get rid of Elevation. Make Rampage the show that you elevate your Sky Blues and your Willows on. You give your independent talents, and you work that a little bit on ROH with your Blake Christians and the rest of the crew. I'm all fucking in. He's coming back. The announcement's coming tonight.
Yeah. Keith, Tim did say that this show will feature big headlines. He did not say Samoa Joe and also Powerhouse Hobbs. I mean, this is a big deal. Andrade, we want to see him. Last week, we saw Miro and Thunder Rosa. You know, if you don't like her, that's fine, but she's a big deal. She's a big name. I mean, what does this mean to wrestling in itself? I mean, Saturday shows on TNT. This ain't like, the UW or the CW or, Pop, Impact, or Reels. I mean, this is a legit network, and I see here, let's see, this will bring it AEW to 5 total hours of wrestling a week. It's a big deal. Let's hear it.
Yeah, no, it's a huge deal. They're literally they're meeting up with they're putting out the same weekly, hourly content the WWE is now, just spread over 3 shows instead of 2, which is like way more digestible. So you don't have to sit and watch a 3-hour Raw and want to just bash your head into the wall. So that's huge. This is really tough following the impassioned TK promo, Jesus. But
he does it. I
mean, he nailed it really there. Like if that's really how they're gonna do it, that's how they should do it. Dynamite should stay the way that Dynamite is. Rampage should essentially be the one that absorbs your dark and dark elevation. And then Collision should be what Rampage is now, where it's some of the bigger names are popping through, some of the lesser names are popping through and stuff. I want to see more Ring of Honor on TV. Maybe I'm just a cheap person who doesn't want to pay for Honor Club. Strike maybe. I am just a cheap person who doesn't want to pay for Honor Club to watch Ring of Honor every week. But I want to see Dalton Castle on my real TV all the time. I don't want to have to pay a subscription for it. I want to just be able to turn on TNT and see Dalton Castle, or turn on TBS and see Dalton Castle and the boys. I love him. Super underrated. Same with Athena. So many names are sitting there at Ring of Honor right now that are they moved them over there, and I understood at the time, especially I was they gotta have Samoa Joe over there with a title to have a name that get you to buy it and climb those guys, and it does. It's working for a lot of people. I'm just super cheap, so it doesn't work for me. But at the same time, not to put down Ring of Honor, but it's they're too good for a paywall like that. They're too, just put them on my TV all the time, and I guess it just all ties into me being cheap. But anyway, I'm stoked about it. I mean, my only dark or blemish, whatever, on all this is just I'm so over huge announcements. Just do it when it happens, and just do it. I don't, it's literally, it's like your mom used to do when you were, it's like your parents used to do to you when you were a kid. Right? It's just guess what we got you for Christmas? I'll guess that morning when I fucking open it. I don't, you don't kind of keep dangling this freaking carrot in front of me. All of us are, everyone that cares about your huge announcement is watching your TV show already anyway. So you don't have to like do that to make sure we watch it.
Yeah.
If we're not watching it live, we're recording it on our DVR and we're gonna watch it later in the week also. So like it's cool, man. Like we're gonna watch your show. You don't have to keep doing this. And it's easy to put it all on AEW because TK does it a whole hell of a lot more than anything else.
Yeah.
But Nick, you and I even talked about it. Like I think it was the last time we went live, where it was like Triple H had the huge announcement. It ended up being the heavyweight title, where it's just like just do it. Just do your show and announce it. You don't have to announce the announcement.
That's what.
And then have a post show about the announcement. Like just like it's getting out of control with it. But I feel like TK said also. I feel like Punk has to be the announcement now tonight. I feel like it probably wasn't the plan originally. I feel like the plan originally was supposed to be to announce Collision, but then the presser leaked early and they're like, oh, hell, we'll remove. Because there was also a thing I saw somewhere, someone had it on Twitter, where the original internal thing in Warner Brothers had CM Punk listed, and then the one that came out today didn't have his name on it, and I think he was like removed from the poster potentially too.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's like they were like, the official one, get it off there so no one sees it and everyone will forget life, and then we'll just say it tonight.
Yeah.
Work, baby. Work that, baby. Work it. We don't get works. Work it, baby. Let's go.
Well, it debuts June 17th. It as in AEW Collision, 8 p.m., June 17th. It's going to be great, man. I just can't wait. I mean, yeah, it's Saturday, and yeah, we do a lot of shit. But 8 o'clock, I mean, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch at least the first few weeks just to see what it's all about. What are you most looking forward to? I mean, is it the big names? Is it just watching it on Saturday? I mean, what do you want out of AEW Collision?
What this is to me is Tony Khan drawing a very literal line in the sand. Okay. We're going to hop in the Wayback Machine. We're going to go back to 1983 and Black Saturday. The whole reason Vince McMahon came to Georgia was because he wanted Turner time. He wanted that 605 Super Show on Saturday nights. He bought it. He gutted the territory. He sold it back for pennies on the dollar. What this is TK drawing that line because he goes, you know what? I'm going to put a show on Saturday night. Granted, it's not the 605 Super Show, but it's 8 o'clock Saturday night. It's as prime time as it almost gets. You know what I mean? 7 p.m. Central Time on a Saturday. It's a pretty prime time spot on TNT. So it goes back to the old Turner stuff, even down to the announcement logo they made. So reminiscent of the original Monday Nitro look. Yep. What it says to me is TK goes, okay, we're here. Whether the $1 billion TV deal is real or not, we know they're going to get a fat ass deal in the very near future. They're not going anywhere on television, whether it's $1 billion or not. They're sticking around for at least one more contract. So what I say is just enjoy the ride, baby.
Yeah.
Enjoy being a pro wrestling fan. Enjoy the fact that for the first time in 20 years, there's real competition for the WWE that's not Impact TNA. Not that you guys, Tim, you guys are in the same group. Y'all know, love TNA, love my NWA wrestling. But I'm hyped that there's somebody competing at that level. Are they a $10 billion company? Absolutely not. But they are putting out quality wrestling shows now. And 4 years ago, I told you AEW wouldn't be around now. You know what I mean? Like they've sold me and I wasn't an AEW guy. And now I look forward to Dynamite almost as much as I do any other show every week.
Yeah. And you bring up a good point too. And I don't know if we discussed this, but Tony Khan's catering to us. You know, the WWE caters to the kids. Tony Khan's catering to us, you know, above 30.
I say cool. WWE's catering to the masses. Tony Khan caters to wrestling fans.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Let's hear one thing I'd like to add to that, to all the people who are hating on the way it looks, the logo, because it reminds them of WCW Saturday Night. You don't think they did it for a reason? They're in. That's what I just
said. Yeah.
Like, oh man.
I mean, you could see it even today, right now. I mean, currently, you see things that are similar with WCW, the ropes, the mat, you know, the ring. I mean, it looks similar for a reason. It's vintage. It's something you want. Again, he's catering to us. He's not catering to, Will, like you said, the masses or the little kids. I mean, that is, you know, the WWE, and that's what they do best. They cater to that audience, And that's it. That's WWE. I'm stoked. I can't wait. Am I going to find the time? Probably not. But what Keith said, DVR it and watch it later. I mean, it's cool to just say wrestling is live.
Yeah.
On
absolutely.
Saturday, I
For
dig
sure.
it, man.
Well, and like all the stuff going around about like, oh, it looks like WCW and stuff. Like, I feel like it's kind of like, I mean, I guess I do it to some extent too, because I tend to like not use my Instagram like whatsoever, except for when I remember that it's Wednesday and I find some picture from a WCW show and put it up there and do hashtag WCW.
Yes.
Check it out today, Jersey Triad.
Boom.
But
EDP.
like everyone like says like everyone will drop stuff like that, just like, oh, like it's so WCW, like it was a dirty thing. Like WCW was like there was a time when it was awesome.
Weeks.
Like I'm never gonna sit here in the 52 weeks, even before that, man. Like
It was awesome for fucking like 8 years.
that's what I
dude.
mean. It was so good for so long until there's, everywhere has like a checkered past. And that's like, I think what everyone kind of messes around and like forgets with. Like WWE hasn't been perfect either. Does anybody remember the new generation? Because I wasn't necessarily like watching religiously at that time, but that shit sucked.
Quite
Spark
frankly,
Plug
as a
Bob
kid,
Holly,
Isaac
Isaac
I was
Yankem,
watching
Duke the
religiously,
Dumpster Droz.
I loved it.
That's what
It was
like, when you're a
enjoyable as a
kid.
kid.
Right.
But
You're
when
a
you're
kid.
an
That's the
adult, when you're
point.
watching it, it is.
Exactly. When
I'm
you're
from
a kid
the
in the
South.
moment.
Yeah. We'll
Guys.
Yeah. When you're a
We
kid in
watched
the moment.
wrestling.
Exactly. When you're a kid in the moment and stuff, it was great. I don't know if it's just like from my like own upbringing with it too, because like I was a WCW kid when I first started like being able to watch weekly wrestling in like the heat of the Monday Night Wars. I wasn't allowed to watch WWF because they did suck it and there was boobs and stuff.
Yeah.
WCW is more wholesome. Looking back now, I don't know what the hell my parents thought, but somehow that was the okay one.
Yeah.
So like I would go to school on Tuesday and have to be like, well, this is what happened on WCW. And then they would tell me everything with WWF. And then I learned that ECW was just on local TV after all of that anyway. And I would just go up in my room and watch it anyway. So
There you go.
suck on that, Mom.
Yep. You're watching. Damn
Yeah, that was way worse. But
it. Yeah.
Keith just got grounded.
exactly. So like I guess like that. I guess that holds like no relevancy to the announcement thing. But like I think it's like such crap that like because of like those last like 7 years ish, 7 years of kind of crap WCW booking and stuff because of all the nonsense there. And it is. I'm never going to defend that stuff because it's really bad. A lot of it is. But like WCW was super successful for a really long time until they made some bad decisions.
Yeah.
So like people, even when AEW first dropped, people were just like, oh, it's going to be another WCW. It's like, okay, cool. So we'll have this awesome company for at least 10 years. Sounds good to me.
Oh, you mean a competitor that beat WWE for 83 weeks and was successful,
Yep.
Exactly.
Oh,
Another
darn.
podcast.
Like, it's like nonsense. All wrestling fans are the worst.
Another five. You're the best.
What? You good?
I'm great, dude. I love this WCW talk, man. I know Will does his own WCW chatter on his own show, and man, I love WCW talk. There was from 91 to like 99, WCW was. I know NWA at the time, but my God, it was fantastic.
I always
so many different facets.
I always say Kevin Nash getting the pencil was what started the process of killing WCW off. When they handed that man, he was a hell of a worker, hell of a person, hell of a gimmick, character, actor, diesel, whatever you want to use. He just could not book a match to save his life. And I'm sorry, I feel like that was the eventual downfall. The streak, taking Ray's mask, all the other genuinely yucky stuff that he started. And then they hired Russo, who was already just there for the shock factor anyways.
Yeah.
Welcome to WCW on a Wednesday night, guys.
I just saw on Twitter today, there was one of the pages like on this day in WWF history, and they were showing it's Jericho from like 98, where I think I want to say it's like, it's not Starrcade. It's one of those like WrestleCade or something like that, where there was he was the cruiserweight champ in WCW, and they had a cruiserweight battle royal, and he steals the mic from the ring announcer and does his own for it. And none of it would fly today at all, but it's fantastic. Like Juventud comes out, he's just like, he showed up saying a nice rusty 63 like Eldorado. He's like mid juice Juventud Guerrera. And like, Chavo's in it. He's like, he was a great bartender. Unfortunately, didn't transfer over into his wrestling skills. It's Chavo Guerrero Jr. Just all this utter nonsense about everybody, and it's like that was awesome. That was before it all started to turn to crap. You can't watch that and be like, oh, this was so bad.
94 with when Worlds Collide, working with AAA and bringing in the Luchador Invasion and stuff. Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. 95 Starrcade WCW against New Japan, dude. It was fucking tight.
The World Cup of Wrestling, bro.
Come on, baby.
Sonny Ono was the real MVP there. He came out with every single one of the New Japan guys for like 16 matches straight or whatever it was.
And was involved still in a bunch of them too. Like didn't even just make entrances. He like did shit.
Yeah.
Worked his ass off that night for sure.
Yes, he did.
I love it.
Anyway,
Boys.
WCW. That's the next one.
Ready for the next topic? Let's do it. Yeah, buddy. So dramatic. Edge,
Indeed.
unfinished business. And I think, if I'm seeing this correctly, I think this is his last year. I don't know when he's going to retire, and I think that's the topic we want to discuss. We saw that video that he posted. He needs to win the title. He needs to. He did not win. It's going to be AJ and Seth. So maybe that was for, maybe he was selling the match. I don't know if it needed to be sold, but he did, what he always does. He sells the match. He did that on Twitter. Very smart social media-wise. But that got me thinking, like, what's next for Edge? I mean, he came back and he just killed it. He had that match with Randy. He had a lot of great matches. He was involved in the title match with Roman Reigns. That was a really good match. Roman stacked him, but still, it's just I want his career to end the right way, and I think he wants that too, and I think fans want that too. We want to see this end correctly, and I'm just going to throw it out there. I mean, I'll start with you, Will. How, who, where, when? How does he retire? Where does he retire? When does he? Is it in our backyard, Keith? I mean, let's hear it, Will. What do you got? He needs this. This is Edge. Let's hear it. I'm going to shut up.
I think that the WWE gave us the foreshadowing of what they were doing by running that late summer Canada run. I think it's end of July, maybe, when they get back from the UK. They're going through Edge's proverbial backyard.
Thank you, Victor.
So I think that has something to do with it. I don't know if it'll tie into the World Championship or not.
What do you want to see?
I would love to see Edge.
Christian?
I don't think he needs to win the title to be the first one. But I think he deserves that push leading up to it. Maybe make it a convincing loss and then Edge go, okay, guys, I'm done. This is where I bow out. As a big mark growing up towards the Attitude Era, after Double or Nothing, I would like Christian to be out. His contract is, my understanding, was a 3-year deal or a 2-year deal rather that should be ending soon. So I'm hoping that if Christian leaves AEW after Double or Nothing, we could see Christian and Edge retire together on one-day deals in WWE because we know Christian will go back. We know he'll eventually, because him and Edge and Christian together collectively will get the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? But they're not going to put Christian in when he's active in another company like that. So I think it'll eventually end up with him coming back, and I'm hoping that it's this summer in Canada.
Okay, so not 40 in Philly.
No, I think it'll happen this summer.
I dig it. I mean, Timmy, Will talked about it. Attitude Era. I mean, Edge is the man. I mean, even when he was on Smackdown, it wasn't a great run, but he had a really, really awesome run with, on Smackdown. Let's hear it, man. What do you want to see? How, where, when, why? Let's hear it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's funny. A lot of people think his contract's going to run out and he's going to go wrestle at Wembley Stadium at All In. And I'm just like, I can never see Edge wrestling elsewhere. He started in ironically, he started in WCW, all right?
Sexton Hardcastle.
Right. But I can never actually see him wrestling for another company. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think, my God, if you know me, if you listen to anything I have to say, it was Seth all day for this title. After I just promo, I almost was like, I hope someone like screws Seth out of it so Edge could win in the finals. Like, because his promo was so impassioned, it made me want him to get the belt.
He sold it. Yeah.
So, right. So then it made me think, all right, Cody's hopefully Cody beats Roman at SummerSlam. Cody and Edge would be a hell of a fucking match at 40 in Philly. And you could have Edge go over there and retire with the belt and retire the right way. Or you could have like Finn Balor eventually beat Seth for the belt, or like Damian Priest eventually beat Seth for the belt on that side of things. Edge win the Royal Rumble, give him one last hoorah. Third Royal Rumble win, I believe.
It will be a
then he'll win against Priest or Balor at WrestleMania 40. Then come out on Raw and say, hey, I'm done. And then they do something else for the belts, and that's it. That's how I'd like him to go out. If he doesn't win a title in his return because Roman occupied it for 95% of it, I'll be pretty upset. Now, let Cody get the belt. You got 2 belts now, 1 on each show. You got plenty of time to get him a belt. He retires at 40. Show after 40.
Yeah. Keith, I think it's going to be respectable when it comes to his last match. I mean, this is a new regime. We're not going to see Corbin go one-on-one with Kurt Angle. You know, like, what a fucking mess. But we won't even get into that. I think it's going to happen. I think Tripp sees that there is a lot in Edge and a lot in this story just because he's done, man. He's going, we know it. He sent out the message. We all know it. It's going to happen. It's just when, where, and why, and who. I mean, let's hear it. What do you got?
Well, the obvious answer is Edge's retirement match is going to be on next week's SmackDown against Rick Boogs.
There you go.
Boogs goes over clean.
Makes sense
Edge
to me.
goes out on his back. Bing,
Book
bang,
it,
boom.
Trips.
Now, fuck that. I don't know. Like, I
see?
feel like it's a tough one for me because, like, because I'm an idiot, I kind of like forgot about the fact that like he never lost the heavyweight belt back in the day. He gave it up because he had to.
Yeah.
So like seeing that social media promo it was Twitter. Twitter he did it. Twitter, whatever.
Yeah.
Seeing that promo, I was like, damn, some really good points. But like I'm also not the biggest fan of like a title run for the sake of a title run like that. Like he said it in the promo where he's just like, oh, like I want to win it, and then when I lose it, I'll retire. Where it's like, so you're like putting a stamp on yourself already. Like I'm going to win this for this period of time, and then I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
I would almost rather. I feel like I would rather just have him keep fighting for it, and unfortunately, like failing, and him eventually just being like, I don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on top that way. You know, and that's not something that has to be a quick transition. If it is going to lead to Mania next year in Philly, you can work with that. Like I can totally see it being a thing, giving him a run kind of similar to like Michaels and Undertaker, WrestleMania 25 and 26 and stuff, where just like, I can beat you. Like just have him like do, I'm not saying you got to give him a slammy and do the exact same storyline, but just, you know, have something where, you know, we got Styles and Seth at Night of Champions. Seth obviously wins. The next night or the next whatever, that Monday on Raw, Edge comes out and just like, cool, you got it. Yeah. We're running it back. I need that. Like, and he's normal, no change in him or anything. Just he comes out, I want your belt. You know this, da-da-da-da. Build up to it. They're feuding, whatever. I don't know. It's kind of like face versus face because I guess Seth's supposed to be a heel, but he's not because we love him. So like you build it up. However, Edge loses that one. And then you just start to like have him crack a little bit about it, you know, and like have him just become more desperate. Like, no. I have to win that. My time is running out. I have to get that friggin' belt. And just getting dirtier and dirtier, and you know, leading it to have them run back Hell in a Cell. Their Hell in a Cell in Saudi. When was that? Last year, year before? It was great. It was a great match they had together in the Hell in a Cell. Run that back and have that be the final one. Seth beats him in the cell, then
Tim
brutalizes him. Have him nice and bloody, you know. And Edge goes out that way. Edge comes out the next night and just like, I don't have it. I'm sorry. You know. And let him right off into the sunset. I love Will's call, too, of like have Christian run his out. They both sign one-day contracts to be in there and retire in WWE together. Give them their Hall of Fame. Edge will be a 2-time Hall of Famer at that point. Hell yeah.
Yeah, Christian gets his spot too. I mean, he's well deserved. Yeah.
And I think, like, just going back to what TK was saying, I feel like there's no way he shows up at Wembley, only because I don't know what the name would be. Like, Christian had the benefit of, like, he left WWE for a while and had, like, a little bit of a run as Christian Cage already in TNA. Like, if he pops up in AEW, they're like, oh, my God, that's Adam Copeland. It's like, oh, yeah.
What do they call him? Like, The Edge or, like, Edge Copeland.
That's copyright. That's copyright, too. The Edge is U2's guy, isn't he? He plays guitar.
Oh, yeah, that is.
Yeah.
So, like, he's, that's like a tough one. Or, like, Adam Edge.
Right.
Yeah. Edge Copeland.
That's not great. Edge Copeland.
Sounds like a Renaissance.
Copeland's just, Copeland doesn't work. Copeland doesn't strike fear.
No.
It's not,
No.
I'm pretty sure Copeland's like the name of an indie band.
Probably.
So,
Yo, boys, I love you so much. Nick, Keith, you know what time it is. It's Wednesday. It's Dynamite time.
It is
There
Dynamite.
you go, buddy.
So I'm gonna go watch this so I can give you guys the most thorough AEW
There you
Dynamite
go.
review possible. Live,
Absolutely.
9
When is
p.m.
it?
Central Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Nick,
Yes, sir.
Keith, thank you guys so much for having me back on the UW pod.
Yeah.
Appreciate you
always
guys
a pleasure.
greatly. Will, bro, it was
I love you,
great
brother.
chopping it up with you, bro.
All the time, every day.
Yes,
Love it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me on.
All right,
I'll talk to you
buddy.
guys soon. All right.
Peace.
My man.
All right, let's get to the next topic here. We got 2 more topics.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Yeah, buddy. So news was out this week. Again, Dirty Dan covered it. Randy Orton, we don't know. We don't know if he's going to come back. Bob Orton, his dad, said he's really hurt. He does not know if he can see his son go back. That's really interesting. And then we had Cena come out today or this week and say that his body can't do it anymore. He doesn't know if he can wrestle again. And these are 2 huge stars. I mean, it doesn't matter what era. They're just big names, like this is going to be hard to see. As much as it was fun to see Cena go one-on-one with Theory, I don't know if he, put it all in when it comes to that match. I don't know if that's what we got there. It didn't seem like it, but this sucks, man. This sucks if this is true with Randy and Cena. These are big guys, Hall of Famer, Hall of Fame worthy. Let's talk about it, Keith. What do you got? I mean, is this it? Is this the end of an era?
I mean, it totally would be. I mean, like you said, I mean, whatever your thoughts on them, on either one of them as like workers, their ring work, their whatever, you can't deny that like the 2 of them are literally the tail end of the Attitude Era. They are the Ruthless Aggression Era, the both of them, just in everything. And it's going to be a huge blow. I mean, to be completely honest, not in any kind of like personal thing or whatever like that. I'm more bummed about Randy than Cena. No hate to Cena. When all is said and done, he's going to go down as one of the greatest of all time. 5 moves of doom, Super Cena wins, lol, all that. Like, yeah, for sure. But like, that stuff doesn't just happen. Like, there's a reason that happens. Like, the guy clearly showed that he could carry a company on his back and be a megastar. And so like, the same people that want to give that kind of hate are the same people that like also are like, oh my God, we need The Rock back. It's like, I hate to tell you this, Mr. Mans, but like The Rock did the same thing. The Rock did the same thing. The Rock might have had better character work, and they had The Rock turn heel a couple times, which was a misstep they had with Cena. But like at the end of the day, go back and watch old Rock matches. The Rock is not that good in the ring. He's not. His sharpshooter is garbage. And I always, I'm ready for all the hate I'm going to get for it. I have always hated the way The Rock takes the stunner, where he takes it and then does his weird, like, push off flip thing. Like, you're just kind of Shawn Michaels against Hogan in it, man. Like, you're overdoing it. No one else does that. Like, you do it every friggin' time, like bouncing into the ropes and shit, overdoing it for me. Anyway, that's an aside. Orton, though, I feel like I was just starting to, like, get back invested into Orton, because like I feel like I kind of fell off on him for a little bit. He kind of just got like he was having Twitter beefs with like indie wrestlers and stuff and like all this kind of nonsense, and I'm like, bro, you're better than that. All of you are better than this. So like, just, stop. But then he started doing this. He started tagging with Riddle, and like, he looked like he was having fun again. Cause like when all that Twitter nonsense with him was happening, it also like kind of seemed like he was just like going through the motions in the ring. Like, just, this is the career I did, just trying to get my paycheck and But then, like, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just because of Riddle, but like their storyline started, and I'm like, he looks like he's having a great time now.
Yeah.
So I want to see this go, And then he had the feud again with Edge, that ungodly long friggin' Falls Count Anywhere match. There was great stuff. He had a lot of great stuff going on, and then that's gonna suck. There was an interview he did. I don't know if it was a recent one or if it was an old one he brought up, where he like said, he was like, I probably should have made a better decision in my life, and out of my finisher be just slamming myself on my back every friggin' night.
Well, yeah, and the suplex too from the top rope.
The superplex, it was his dad's, exactly.
Every night, dude.
So I mean, he had a shelf life. He knew he had a limited time on it, but yeah, I mean, that one's a bummer just because he was coming back. Cena, like I said, I'm not like talking trash on him, because like he is going to go down as one of the greats, already is in a lot of respects, but like he hasn't been super involved in the last couple of years anyway. I mean, last year he literally just had the one match in 2022 on like friggin' New Year's Eve, basically
Friday of the year.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, he just snuck it in there. So like, I'm not too hurt on that one.
Yeah.
He's been making the transition over into movies, doing the big stuff, Peacemaker and everything. And that's great. I had no disrespect, no hate in anything. Awesome. If you can continue to have another 40 year career, not taking chair shots and botch spots, all that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you can make a living off of that, great, good for you, man. By all means, it's what The Rock did. And hell, guy owns a friggin' football company now, and tequila, and whatever else. Like, cool.
Yeah.
So good for him. But Randy, yeah, I can see Randy kind of getting into similar stuff, but like, Randy's a wrestler. Like, Cena was that's what I think that's really what it comes down to, the two of them. Randy was a wrestler, Cena was a sports entertainer. Both great in their own rights, but it's like Randy hurts to lose because I feel like he could have had a whole lot more to give if he had longer with it all.
Yep.
Nah, we were kind of all getting tired of him anyway. He gets the pop now because he's been away for so long. But
yeah,
if he had been there on the consistent basis Randy was, we'd be like, get the hell out of here. Go back to Hollywood now.
Yeah. Well, Bob Orton provided this information. Randy Orton may never wrestle again. We've seen it with Edge. We've seen it with Paige. We've seen it with Daniel Bryan. I mean, again, history repeats itself. But these are big. These are huge guys. These are, they're on your Mount Rushmore. Might not be on your specific Mount Rushmore, but when you think of that for the WWE, you think of Cena. You think of Randy. I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, yes, this might be a shoot with Randy, and it might be a work with Cena, or vice versa, but it's something, man. What do you think?
I think I agree with Keith on the Cena stuff. Cena's that guy where if he doesn't bow out gracefully on his own in the next year or two, then he's going to be that guy. He's going to be a Hogan figure where he kept pushing it too long. He tarnished every bit of a reputation he had as being one of the greatest in-ring workers because people will remember the subpar in-ring work he's done since. Excuse me, sorry. But on the Orton side of things, Orton is one of those guys where I feel like if he's taken out of the business right now, he's gone too soon. He's at the cusp of that, that last push, like what we're talking about Edge right now. Orton's a couple years from that. So if he loses that last push, then we always have that what if. He's stuck at 14. What if he never got this last injury? And I hate to see anybody's career end like that, because Randy Orton was good enough to get those last two title pushes and tie Flair, if not beat him. And for a long time, I said there would be nobody that could do it except for Triple H or Randy Orton.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
and I think Flair even said it himself, too. He doesn't want anyone else other than Randy. It's, it is what it is. They had a hell of a career. I mean, the reigns they have just combined, it's insane. I just want something, just like Edge, just like, what we talked about with Edge, with Daniel Bryan and with Paige. I mean, it's great. It's awesome to see. I think it's a work. I don't think this is legit. I think Randy's going to come back, and I think Cena, he's just saying it. He's on a podcast. He's selling. You know, he's a wrestler deep down inside. That's where he started. That's where he made his money. You know, that's where he paid his bills. He's selling it. I'm never going to wrestle again just because I had such a shit match against Austin Theory. I don't want to get into that, but what do you got, Keith?
No, I mean, I hadn't really thought about that until you said it, but I could absolutely see the Randy one, especially being a work because
when's the last time we heard Bob Orton?
Bob Orton is through and through like a worker, like you know, guy did all the prosthetics and shit they did with him for that Undertaker match with Orton and stuff. Like he'll be working till the day he dies.
Yeah.
So I could absolutely see that and him just kind of pushing it out there that way to make it a more triumphant thing. And you know, Will brought up a good point too. Like, I mean, just bringing Edge back into it with like giving them that moment, like that, leaving that like kind of that what if hanging if this is the end of it all for Orton. I mean, it would be awesome if it is like all the work. Edge comes back, like Edge goes through kind of like what I was saying, like Seth wins, he challenges Seth for the heavyweight title, and that's when Randy returns. Randy comes in and costs him and is like, no, we're doing this. I'm fucking retiring your ass. And then they go have a series again. I don't know how many people would want that because they've had, they've run it back with them multiple times and whatnot.
But it's
I think that'd be a great way to
every
put it.
time.
And then you could put them both exactly. And then you could put them, you can basically put them both out at the same time and have that final page written for both of them and give them that good closure.
Yeah.
But
you know what's a fun topic too? Obviously, Randy's going to be a Hall of Fame Hall of Fame guy. But how many times? You got just his career. You got Evolution. Maybe Legacy. I mean, he's going to
rated RKO possibly. Like,
yeah. What about?
I mean, he's touched a lot of great stories.
Yeah. What is the FTK RKO? Yes,
FTRKR. Yeah. I don't know that he would go in for that one unless the revival comes back. I don't know that one would.
Tim.
That one would go in. Oh, hey, there he is.
There he is. I gotta watch Dynamite. Damn it. Let's get to the last topic here, Keith. This is your topic. Let's get to it, baby. All right. Yes, we've seen it a bunch of times, but Keith, you wanted to bring this up on the stream. Let's talk about it. I knew absolutely nothing other than the text you sent me, so let's hear it.
Well, the fun thing is that I didn't know anything outside of this. So it was just an interesting thing I wanted to bring up because this is about 2 weeks ago, I got one of those, you get a Twitter message from someone that you don't know. So it's like maybe a pending message, whatever. So I pop it open and it's this guy, and I apologize if he is watching and I butcher your name here. I'm just going to try my best. I'm assuming this is Ugur Kara-Alioglu.
There you go.
Anyway, so he says, I'm reading this out verbatim. Now, I also am going to preface this where I don't think I've at any point on any of our shows mentioned anything about knowing anything about UFC, MMA at all. With that in mind. Hello, sir. I have 2 off-topic questions. 1, Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley, MMA match / shoot fight. Who wins? So we'll start there. Then this is where it really goes off here. Okay. 2, if Brock Lesnar got into MMA under elite camps and coaches right after college, how good would it be? Top 5 heavyweight or GOAT material? Especially the pre-USADA period, because insane. Brock Lesnar is 5-3 in MMA, but second most in heavyweight title defenses. He had the 3rd longest consecutive USC heavyweight title reign, and then he lists the 3. Cain Velasquez is first. I don't know how the second guy. Brock Lesnar. Okay, once tied for first place with only 6 MMA fights, no amateur / striking experience, just college wrestling. He jumped straight from WWE straight into MMA. His body wear for multiple careers, and still managed to defeat legends like Frank Mir, Andy Couture, Shane Carwin. First of all, sorry for the long message, sir.
Yeah.
So that's really what it is. Brock versus Bobby in a shoot fight, who wins? And then I guess basically like how do you think it would have fared for Brock if he went straight into MMA out of college rather than going the wrestling NFL route before getting there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think just out of curiosity, I would want to see this. Because I wanted that match at WrestleMania. Lashley and Lesnar. We never got it. We got something else that's really stupid. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole. But I want to see this again and again. But you know what? I want to see a legit match. I want to see a fight. And I think, what this guy brought to you, this is what I want to see. Because we're not going to get it just because Lesnar versus Lashley, as much as they are legends, as much as they are Hall of Famers, they're not the best in the ring. And we know that. So when they go one-on-one, as much as we want it to be two monster trucks, two 18-wheelers, it's not going to be. Let me see a legit fight, MMA ring. Dana White, come on. Let's get it.
I think that in the WWE, there's only a few guys on their roster that could, if you walk down a dark alleyway and you were like, you had a couple pints in you, you're feeling yourself. And then you saw two guys in the alleyway that looked like they were about to square off and beat the absolute shit out of each other. Bobby Lashley is maybe on a handful of people that could stand across from Brock Lesnar and not look like he was going to get eaten for dinner. Yeah. So just based on that alone and knowing what Bobby's done in Bellator, knowing Brock's successes in UFC, I think they would beat the ever-loving crap out of each other, and I'm here for it. I think it would be a hell of a fight. I would probably give Brock the edge because I would say he had a more successful MMA career, but that's speaking very, very amateurish. I've probably maybe watched a handful of UFC pay-per-views in the last 5 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. So just knowing what I know about it, I would say Bobby could hold his own against Brock, but I would give Brock the edge, and I would definitely watch the fight if they put those two in the octagon.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just I'm definitely in the boat that I prefer my fights scripted. So I want to see, I'm like Nick said, I want to see Brock and Bobby have a legitimate match in WWE, but Lesnar has that. Lesnar has the thing where he's just WWE is anti-blading. You can't blade, but hard way blood is fine. Lesnar proved that in the Cody match. So let's let them two have a fight, and we'll be like, hey, don't shoot on each other, and they'll go, yeah, got it. Okay. And then exactly. So you still get, because I want to see. I can see them meeting before this match and being all right, cool. So Brock is being cool, I'm going to definitely get Suplex City in, definitely give you an F5 or so. You're going to get me in a stalling vertical. That'll be cool. Give me a spear or two. Great. Otherwise, might as well be an octagon. We'll just,
Yep. Get it on.
Throw them. Throw bows. Get them. Drop the gloves immediately. Don't even tape your fists. Let's just fucking hit each other. And I'm all for that. Absolutely. As much as I said, I like my fighting scripted. I like my scripted fighting where it looks like they're actually beating the shit out of each other. But for some reason, something where there's no storyline in it and they're in an octagon and actually beating each other up, I'm like, this isn't for me.
Yeah. I'm interested just because it's Lashley and Lesnar. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah, they're big. And yeah, they could sell tickets for anything. If it's MMA, if it's, wrestling, it doesn't matter. These guys in a legit fight, come on, I'm sold.
Absolutely. It's money. And for the second part of it, it's kind of an obvious answer. If Brock decided to go directly into MMA out of college wrestling, there's no question that he would have just
the greatest MMA heavyweight of all time.
He would have just eaten the ring at some
100%.
Yeah.
Especially like you said, pre the USDA stuff, if they somehow talked him into roiding up, yeah. He probably would have. He might be in jail. He might be like Kimbo Slice. He might have killed multiple people in the octagon and been like, I don't know what to tell you.
Shit happened.
Did you see Brock Lesnar and Kimbo Slice in somebody's backyard 20 years ago, just beating the ever-loving shit out of each other?
The only thing I ever remember from Kimbo Slice is the one fight that he's in where he fucking knocks the guy's eye out of its socket.
Yep.
And they try to break it up, and he just keeps punching the hanging eye. Oh my God.
Yeah, if Brock had went straight out of college with all of his background and everything he did with the Olympic training and then gone straight into an MMA gym, even just purely based off of his amateur wrestling stuff, you put 10 years of, 20 years of striking and grappling on that on top of everything else, he would have already retired the most successful UFC fighter ever.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I don't think his heart was in it when he left, his last match. What was that? Was that Frank Mir or was that Kane? I don't know who it was.
I think that's like the whole point, though, is like he almost like went into UFC just being like, well, I guess I'll do this now.
Let's be in a
And he,
fourth
like-
video
and he-
game just for fun.
Exactly. Like he just went into it like for, just for like shits and gigs, and ended up being like having a really stellar record and, all the like, third longest UFC heavyweight title reign and all.
Yeah.
So, like,
IWGP world champion. He went to fucking Japan on a
One
whim
of-
and was like, okay, sure, let's win your world title real fast.
What is he? He's one of 3 or 4 Gaijin to win it. Him, Kurt, AJ, Jay. Well, I guess no, it's way more now because Jay White and Kenny.
Yeah. Him, Kurt,
At
AJ,
the time, though,
Hogan,
Jesus.
and I think that's
Vader.
it. Vader did win it. You're right. And Vader.
Yeah.
Those were the original ones.
Vader.
That was it. Yes, sir.
So yeah, like
with the
he's-
Japanese knowledge.
And when it comes to Vader, when it comes to big men in Japan, absolutely.
Yes, sir. Well, let's end it here, Will. Again, thank you for coming on. It was a hell of a time. Give the people what they want. How can they find you?
Well, first, again, Nick, Keith, I appreciate you guys allowing me to invade your space and to be part of the show tonight. It's always a pleasure. For those of you who want to, get into my shenanigans in the truest form, you can check me out on Botched, Bots, and Share Shots Sunday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. If you check my link tree at The Will Gray on all of my social medias, that'll take you where everything I do, Botched, Bots, and Share Shots, Creation World, my World Championship Wreckage, my WCW History Primer. It's all linked there at The Will Gray. You can find everything that I do.
You are the man, the trivia king.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about
Tear
that.
it
I just had a
down.
good showing, my man.
Keith, other than the UW pod, give the people what they want. How can they find you?
Mm-hmm. I'm mostly active on Twitter at Keith of the Ring. Also, as I mentioned earlier, do a little bit of nonsense on Instagram, mostly just hashtag WCW pictures of WCW stuff. But on Instagram, I'm at _ Keith of the Ring because somebody beat me to it. And then, I'm basically just everywhere with you. We have our lovely Bloodline Entertainment Network.com. Oh, no, what is it? Bloodline.
Boom.
Boom, there it is. Bloodline Network. I fucking knew it was that. God
You
damn.
got it, brother.
Anyway.
Yes, sir. promote. And we're going to promote. AEW Dynamite Review is tonight with your boy who left early, TK. It's going to be at 10:05 right here on the Bloodline Entertainment Network. Yes, Keith, it's not just sports. It's not just wrestling. It's entertainment. We got whatever you want. And you can even see Will right here on the bloodlinenetwork.com. Writes amazing articles. Can't wait to see more of them.
It's
do it
coming.
one
We're
more
about to get
time.
all of that shit pumped out. You guys are about to be all full of the Will Gray stuff when it comes to the written stuff.
Yeah,
Deluged.
that's what
Let's
we
do
want.
it.
And we can't forget Tom and Alan exclusively on the UW pod, which means the Bloodline Entertainment Network. You can find Tom, you can find Alan, the Brocast podcast right here, man. Great episodes, watch alongs. Like I said, it was Heidenreich versus Alabama Doink.
In
Great.
a Golden Corral parking
Yeah.
lot.
Love that.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. Well, let's get to it. Peace.
Thank you for listening to another edition of the Universal Wrestling Podcast. Check us out on the web at UWPod.com.
You've got mail.
Or send us an email. info@UWPod.com. Universal Wrestling Podcast.
Nobody does it better.